Okay. It looks like I'm here. I'm gonna try to make this quick, short and sweet, like they say. Um, I stopped at my sister's house last night on the way back from Muggy, and I had asked her before if I had given her my hard copies of the history that I had found on the internet that doesn't seem to be there anymore. And she pulled out a great big box full of things that her husband had put. I mean, John was a pretty high up executive in a big corporation. He knew how to do things. And we were both top level administrative assistants in big companies, my sister and I. So we know how to do things. And it was full of things about the home place and the land. She had deeds and titles and maps and aerials and just binders and files and all sorts of something that was, I think it was an abstract, what I have been thinking about going to the courthouse. Oh, hey, Forever Love, how are you? My mouth fell open when I went to my sister's house last night. I was on my way back from Okmulgee, and she brought out a big tub just full of like aerial photographs of the land, legal descriptions, old deeds, wills. Oh God, all kinds of things. And oh dear, what was it? Well, I think it's an abstract. It's about 3 or 4 inches thick. And I think it's what I was going to go to the courthouse to try to copy. And I put it off because I thought it's going to be a whole lot of trouble. And I think it would have been because it started out, the first page, because I didn't have my glasses, I couldn't see crap. But anyway, I could see the front page, and it started out, it was like a designation of the land from the United States government to the woman. Like I keep saying, I'm going to title my book Indian Woman's Land. I mean, like, originally from back before statehood. It's the original land grant. All the way in till now, I guess. I don't know how long it's... Well, I guess whenever they moved down. Recently, the last few years, maybe. No kidding. I'm glad that I started being nice to her. Because we need to not fight. That's what I've been trying to tell people and trying to live by it. If we don't all pull together, we'll all go down together. So my brother and my brother are still crossways. And I don't blame either one of them. Like I said, we've all been bad. And I know a little bit about both sides. And they've both been bad to each other. And who hit who first? I mean, it's so far back. But they need to let things go. I still feel like I need to keep an eye on my brother, though, because he's, you gotta watch him sometimes. But, wow. And I went ahead and told her, oh, yeah. I think that we better start pulling all together. We all have our different skills and talents and knowledge and information. And together we can do it. We can pull this off. But, if we keep fighting and being divided, we'll all go down together and there won't be much left for the boys. And I hope to God somebody has a baby. I swear, if we go through all this fighting and save it and nobody has any babies to pass it down to, I'm going to be upset. Like I'll be here. So, but anyway, but yeah, that's what happened last night. So, I told her that I had been, I told her why. She goes, why do you want to know all this stuff? And I went ahead and told her, you know, that I was talking to the archaeologist that we pulled guns on that one time, because I'm sure she heard that story. And he's real nice. He's real interested. And it might be some kind of historical protection if we can do something like that. Yeah. So, I guess hope somebody starts having babies soon, sometime, somewhere, with somebody. So we'll see how that goes. But it's exciting anyway. Nothing like a good fight. But I'm having to be careful. Like I said, take a pill, Grandma. Chill. But, yeah, I'm trying to kind of, not get too wound up. Look at it like a game, like being on Dallas or something. Well, Connie used to work in the building where they filmed Dallas, and she lived, just around, just like within a mile or so of the ranch that they used to film the ranch for Dallas. So, and she lived in the town where they filmed, was it Walker, Texas Ranger? Yeah. So she used to work in that building for a big company in there, in that building. So, yeah, we can be good if we will. Like I said, we used to both be top level. I worked for a corporate headquarters. She did too. Top level corporate executives at the corporate headquarters. I did the finance departments for domestic accounting, international accounting, and corporate budgeting departments. All of them all at once, all by myself. Dang. Anyway, focus, focus, focus. Oh, I know. I mean, you can tell those clothes, because I have bought clothes from that era before and tried to take out the shoulder pads. It's like wearing your grandma's clothes. I mean, it's like your sleeves hang down like for inches. Yeah, that was the big signature thing at the time, was shoulder pads. But yeah, you can tell. I think it might be vintage now. I don't know. I'd rather be a hippie. Tie-dye and t-shirts and jeans. But to each his own. So I think we're going to maybe get together today. I told her I was going to go back to Okmulgee, though, because last time I was at the car dealer, this other lady that was at the front door gave me a key because they're having a promotion for the city. And I probably should have tried to go get some more keys. Anyway, starting today, if you take your little unopened envelope that they gave you to the newspaper office and they open it up, you could win a prize. I don't remember exactly what. I'm sure some of it involves money. And probably some of it involves nothing at all. Maybe I'll get an ink pen. But that's today. And I am smoking one of my birthday pre-rolls. And I'm glad I stopped at a new store, because they have good weed cheap. I mean, like really, really cheap. So that was nice. I went ahead and bought some of their weed. It was so cheap and good. So that's what I'm doing right now, wake and bake. But I think we might kind of start. Oh, God, I need to go through I need to find my hard copies of, the histories. But she had a good one. I'm glad she found it. I gave her, I think it was written by McDermott's brother. It's an oral history taken by this old lady that used to take pictures of people at, school events for the newspaper. And I remember reading it, and it's one of them I can't find. But I should become productive. Yeah. I'll put them up somewhere and let people look at them. But, you know, and my brother has things, like I found some suitcases, you know, under my grandmother's bed, my daddy's mama. And they were old things from the home place. One of them is a picture of probably McDermott because it's painted on canvas and tacked to a piece of wood, and it's old. You know those old photographs, you know, pictures of like Jesse James? Yeah. It's coming at the right time, and what I feel like is, you know, there's a time for everything. You know, there's a right time for everything. If you just, and I am so impatient. And I'm trying to like be patient and let things unfold. And that's hard for me. I'm always jumping a minute too soon. And I gave him those suitcases full of things like that. I mean, they were deeds that went back to before statehood. One of them was a letter written to McDermott saying that he had information about somebody named Brown who was on trial at, you know, hanging Judge Parker's court in Arkansas. And he wanted to come and talk to him about it. And I looked it up, and there really was somebody named Brown who got hung. And old things. There's a bunch of letters that were in a little bitty brown paper sack, like you'd get from the 10-cent store, little paper sack. And they were like children's scrawl, only they were written by a man. You could tell, only he was not very... Hey, Machine Lies, how are you? Oh, I'm so happy to see you. I forgot what I was saying. But it's written by, you know, you could tell it was a man, and that they were, you know, block letters like a child, and it was like love letters to somebody, how much they really, you know, loved him, and they wanted to get together and trying to rendezvous, you know, and things like that. A little sack of letters like that. And what else did I find? I found I found online 2 newspaper clippings referring to how McDermott was shot on his way back from testifying against some thieves in Sallisaw, I think is where he went to court. Anyway, it was Pawhuska. Might have been Pawhuska. And I thought, yeah, so that's what was in the paper, that he had been shot, and they think that's probably who shot him, because he was on his way, you know, from court. Yeah. And I'm still distracted. The thing is, I also read in the paper a long time ago how a lot of Indian women were being taken advantage of by white men, because a lot of them started having we had a lot of money at one time, and they had a lot of money, and so they were, you know, trying to get married for their money, and some of them were getting killed. Well, like there's a movie about August Moon, had Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was about the Osages, because they got crap loads of money, millions of dollars, and a lot of them got killed for their money. But it was like that, and I think that might be why the old man shot that man on the courthouse steps. The story is that he killed a man that had been trying to mess with one of the girls. And I'll bet you that was it. Because he got off on that. I mean, broad daylight, courthouse steps, he shot somebody dead and walked. But he was friends with a governor. Red. What was his name? Anyway, his nickname was Red. And he was a governor, and he used to come get drunk at the home place with the old man. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's probably what it was. But those kinds of things are in those white trunks that I gave to my brother because, well, his wife's nephew has started having a name for making film. I think he was involved lately with Spike Lee and when, God, what did he win? He won some kind of prize. It wasn't Sundance, but it was, well, it was similar to Sundance, but it was something over from Hollywood. Anyway, he was doing some video here around about history. And I gave them to my brother to give to him so that he could use it. And my brother still got them. But it's got a lot of things like that. Original signed documents, like signed from the first chief of the tribe, way back around statehood times, is in there. So there are a lot of things, if we just all pull together and be nice to each other and quit trying to kill each other, we can do this. So, anyway, that's what's going on with that. Yeah. So the archaeologist is interested, and I only gave him a taste so far of what has happened out there. And he's intrigued and wants to come out there. And I'm glad my sister is okay with it. You know, because it's mostly her land, and I was afraid I was going to have to sneak him under the fence. That apparently we'll be able to walk through the front door and do things halfway up front. Not too much under the radar. But I've got some pictures somewhere, and I've got a video somewhere. And I'll try, and you know, like I said, oh dear, it's all overgrown, and I'll have to spray down, and there'll be ticks, and I'll have to take the big gun, because that's where my sister-in-law saw the panther, I mean for real, a panther, cross the road, was right there at the home place. And you can see when she's around, because, well, I mean, you can see tracks, like where the deers cross, you know, they wear a path, and there is a path that goes under the fence, because you can tell when the deers jump over the fence, because there's a gap, and it goes under the fence, and it's not little, like to the ground, like something with little feet, like an armadillo might, you know, wear something to the ground. Oh, hey, Dean, how are you? What's up? I'm starting to get wound up. I had some mocha today, and I'm on my second cup. But, yeah, you can tell that it's something wide, probably at least as wide as I am, that slides under it, and it doesn't have little feet because there's not a little path, like, to the ground. It's just something sliding under, and I figure it's where the panther goes. So, I'll have to take the big gun, and I will recommend that he take one too. He's not too wimpy, because that's why you do things like that. Because that panther used to have her babies at my aunt's house in a shed behind her pond, because she saw it go in and out the shed all the time. I've seen it. My brother's seen it. You know, if you live around here, you've seen it. So, I don't know when she comes around, but golly, one time I was living at Grandma's house and had a bunch of dogs left over, because my aunt took in dogs when she lived there, and they all had babies. And there were a bunch of dogs out there, and they started disappearing at night, one by one, and they started sleeping on top of the car. And I figure it was the panther that was getting them. It's probably why she was staying at my aunt's house. But anyway, so you never know what you might run into down there. I expect to possibly have to see the panther. I mean, I expect to possibly... There's no telling what might be down there. I don't expect the pigs to be down there. You know, those wild pigs? Might be a meth head down there. No telling what might be down there. It's been wild. So, yeah. Well, don't take that big long rifle out there, because, you know, when I have, it's so dense, you know, that I have had trouble maneuvering it around. You know, like if I've turned around with it, it gets in the way. So I like these shorter pistols when I go out. But yeah, I'll take the big one in case I see something big. Like a meth head. Yeah, and I might go down there with my sister, maybe. Like I said, she hasn't been down there in a long time either. She's been discouraged from going down there. But it's her land. That's what I've been telling her. Claim it. It's yours. Because she halfway wants to live in there. And it's haunted. I mean, for real, it's haunted. The step-great-grandmother that tricked the old man into marrying her with, oh God, what was it? The Mann Act, I think, is the one where it was illegal to take women over state lines for sexual purposes because of the white slave trade, where the Chinese would grab the girls and sell them into this white slave trade. Anyway, that's what she said she would use if he didn't marry her, so he did. So she ended up with all the money and the land and everything. But, haha, she had to live in the house to keep it, and it was haunted, and she couldn't live in it. She had to block off the rest of the house, and she locked the door to the rest of the house and filled in the breezeway. There's a breezeway between the house and the kitchen, the old-timey way. Yeah. And she lived in that instead of that great big house, because it was still good. I mean, it was still good till we got hold of it. And she locked the door and never went back in there. And when we were like in high school, my sister and I wanted to go in there and look around because we'd been there when we were little. And she said, "Are y'all, you want to go back in there?" And we were like, "Yeah." So she unlocked the door and stood back. She didn't go back in there. She stood back and waited for us to come back out. She shut the door again behind us. And we did. It feels good in there to me. It feels good. And we walked around everywhere and looked at everything, opened all the doors, and had no problem. Maybe things happened and I just didn't, pay attention. But it felt good. I was in there once, later on again by myself. It feels good in there to me. And we came out, and she just looked at us. She said, "Are y'all all right?" Well, yeah. Y'all, nothing happened? No, why? What's supposed to happen? Oh, okay, never mind. She locked the door back up again. And when we did finally get it back, and Daddy wanted Grandma to stay down there, because, get to go back home again. And she couldn't do it. She said she was too afraid to stay down there at her own home where she grew up. She said there's too much. She sees, Grandma always did she did always see things. And she sure must have seen things down there, because she didn't want to stay down there. So anyway, and I did have the ghost hunters down there too. They came down. I showed them some pictures and some videos, and they came down and they got EVPs and this and that. So, and this boy, I got this high school boy to come help me with the fences and took him around the house. I mean, I talked to him when I went down there. I say, "Hey, how are you?" I introduced him. And it freaked him out because he said that, he admitted, he sees things. And he said, I've never known anybody that talked to him before. I said, "Yeah, baby." I said, "This is my mama, my grandma." I said, "This is my family. I talk to him. I'm not scared of him." So we went around and he said that he saw a woman in the kitchen window looking out, watching him. Because the cemetery's right there. I mean, even I could throw a rock to the cemetery and I can't throw worth crap. And we went upstairs because I introduced him. Like I said, "This is so-and-so." I said, "He's a good boy. He's here to help me do things here." And he said that he saw a shadow move in the corner. And I had seen where, it was dark in that one corner. And he said he saw a shadow move from that corner across out of the room. And it was lighter. in that corner. So I believe him. He said he sees things, I believe him. So, yeah, there's no telling. There's no telling. I'd be nervous to stay down there. Well, one time I was down there with Leon, look around, and we were going to go inside. And he could not open the door. It was like it was locked. He could not open the door. And I said, well, let me try. And I touched it. That's all I did. I just touched it, and it swung open on me. For me. I said, they know me. Like I told that boy, it's mama's and grandma's family down there. Yeah. So, anyway, we'll see what happens. She's got things that I don't have. If I look around and dig around, I have things that they don't have. Like I said, I'm almost organized. I can be organized. Maybe I have to get paid. Pay me enough and I can show up on time and be organized. Well, not on time. I was always 15 minutes late. Always, always, always 15 minutes late. But I can be good. I've done it before. So, I think I've had too much mocha. I know. And I'm gonna go do something. Okay, I better quit. Bye. I'm glad y'all came. I will continue the saga. Because it's been a continuing saga from the beginning. Like they say on the mural in town. From the beginning, and I thought y'all aren't the beginning. We're the beginning. That's the story that they tried to come take the home place because it was already established. Had a railroad, had a store, had a community. People lived there. Families grew up on the home place there. They came to try to take the home place. And the old man ran them off with guns and told them move it on down the line. Which they did. And that's why they're where they're at now. So they aren't the beginning. We are. Anyway, I better quit. Okay, bye.